And I think we are live. Hey, cool kids. Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Let me know. Hey, please let me know if you can see me or hear me. I'm gonna text my sister. I'm gonna text and just make sure. Can y'all hear me? Camera, audio. Yeah, everything's here. You can hear and see me. Yay! That is so good. Okay, so oh my God, I could cry. I could cry. I'm finna cry. Y'all, well, let me share the link before I start crying. But yeah, I have been trying to y'all know, I've been trying to figure this out since we started class. I've been trying to figure out a setup that I like. I've been trying to figure out how to, look the way I want to look. You know what I mean? It's like, especially y'all, I didn't know the class was gonna be as big as it was. Of course not. Like, I know everybody does that thing where they're like, I didn't know I was gonna be viral. I had no idea this video was gonna blow up, but I had no idea. Truly, I didn't. All right. Yeah, J1688 is my twin sister. So if she trolls, don't report her. Yeah, y'all know. Pick me, pick me. Yes, yes, J1688. Did you have a question? Did you have a question? I'm going to copy this link, send this link to your guest. You may also want to share your instructions for guests. Oh, I don't have no, this is not guests. This is not guests. I just want to share this link. Yeah. Can I just like share the string from here? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. As y'all can see, all day I have been trying to figure out this setup for StreamYard. Um it's been really good so far, but I just need to figure out like the steps. So I'm going to switch over to YouTube really quick and then switch back. Hey, because all I want to do is just share the link. Okay, all I want to do is share the link. There is a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of a lag. Okay, y'all are here. Hey, okay, I'm gonna go back over to StreamYard. Okay, I'm back in StreamYard. Okay, so great question, Jay Jones. So I am recording in StreamYard. So my live is connected to StreamYard. So I'm going live in here and I'm connected to YouTube. So the view I have is from my StreamYard account. The view y'all have is what y'all are seeing on YouTube. So I couldn't figure out how to share the StreamYard, how to share my streaming link from here. So I switched over. So I switched over to YouTube real quick to do it. So let me drop the class discussion link in Patreon. I need a moderator. Oh my God. Truly, I need a, a Patreon moderator. Text. Or maybe I should drop a link. Yeah. Link. Class discussion link. Hey y'all. Here's the link for class discussion. We are live. One thing I already noticed is one thing I already noticed is that I am probably going to have to upgrade Boo because y'all see me in 720p and the free version only gives me that resolution. So like y'all can't even see me in 1080. You know what I mean? Y'all can get me 1080p, whatever. That's fine. Next, all members. Publish. And then I will publish to the chat as well. How y'all doing? Let me know how y'all doing. Let me know what's going on. Let me know if you listen to the lesson, if you have any questions. Today is Thursday, right? Yeah, this is our regular class meeting time. No, you don't have to go to the other link. You don't have to go to the other link. You don't. You're in the right place. As long as you can see and hear me, you are in the right place. Yeah. So the only one that's not technically inside of YouTube right now is me, and technology is quite crazy. With StreamYard, it also appears that I can go if I upgrade, of course, but I money's funny right now. I don't know if I can I don't know if I could upgrade to yet another subscription, but when I'm able to, I'm going to upgrade. StreamYard is going to be one of the ones I'm going to upgrade. Because oh my god, and another subscription just came out. Bruh. Y'all. Also, a lot of y'all follow me on TikTok too. Did y'all know TikTok kicked me out of the creator fund? TikTok kicked me out of the creator fund. No content violations, no nothing. It said for unoriginal content. It's very weird. I think what happened was I make some posts that are friends only, and then sometimes I will make those friends only posts public, and they tag me, they like ding me for unoriginal content for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm but that's like my platform by far that has the most followers. So it's like, dang, what like I get more views over there naturally just because I have more followers over there. So it's just kind of like, dang. I mean, it's not like $1 million or anything, but it absolutely helps. It absolutely helped. So like I gotta figure out how to replace that income some type of way. TikTok has subscription features as well. And for a while, I was using that because I was using that as a cheaper option to my Patreon because Patreon, my lowest tier is $5, but on TikTok, I think it's only like $2.99 a month to subscribe. So I think I might start pumping that up again. Yeah, and do little extra videos and stuff. But anywho, the side quest cracked me up. Okay, so let's start at the side quest. Let's start at the side quest. So actually, what if I go live on TikTok right now to just tell people that we're over here? Cause yeah. Also, y'all good? It hasn't been a lot of engagement in class over the last couple of weeks. Are y'all okay? I know sometimes it can be a lot, you know what I mean? I know it can be a lot, you know. Let's allow access, especially with the subject matter that we talk about. You know, that could be a lot, especially. Okay, I'll go live on TikTok. I'm not gonna say I don't care what it looked like on TikTok. I'm not gonna say I don't care what it looks like on TikTok, but I mean, like, yeah, okay, that's fine. You ready today? Period. Okay. Um, let's just say, let's go live. Let's just see how it works. Oh, I'm cute over there too. Hey y'all. Okay. So speaking of the side quest, we are going to talk about and if at any time this starts to glitch, y'all please let me know. Let me know if you are on YouTube and you can't see or hear me. Let me know because this is my first time doing the StreamYard thing and I personally upgrade. I like the way I look and sound a whole hell of a lot better because I get to use my camera as my I get to use my camera as my what do you call it? I used to use my camera as my webcam over here. Hey, thank you so much. I'm getting very fancy. So I am actually I'm live over on YouTube right now. Yeah, I'm actually live on YouTube right now. We're talking about resistance in during slavery times as part of our African American history class. Maybe if I move this light down just a scooch. Okay, I think that's a little better than like all the way turned up. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Javon. Really, really, Javon, you think so? Because like when I tell you, I literally almost messaged you crying today because I'm trying to get this live set up to be like how I want it to be. Yeah. Also it's like an asynchronous class. You could catch up. You can catch up. Listen to the lessons, come to class discussion, same thing. It's all together. So this week we talked about I'm listening during my son's soccer practice. Oh, hey, glad you can join us. Yes, shout out to soccer. Kids still do constructive stuff. That's constructive what they doing. They got to be doing constructive things. You've been doing great with the content lately. Thank you. Okay. If if I'm not looking at y'all on TikTok, it's because I'm looking over here because I'm on actually primarily live on Instagram right now. I know that StreamYard, the platform that I'm using, does give me the ability to go live in both places at once, but that's an upgrade that we can't afford right now. Okay. It's like $80 a month, which I find it worth it for what because it does what I need it to do really well. But bruh, TikTok kicked me out of the creator program. So I got to figure out how to like recoup that. Anyway, I always ramble for like a good 15 minutes before we talk about class. Anyway, this week we talked about resistance. We are still knee deep in slavery. At first, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm spending so much time on slavery, but the US spent a whole hell of a lot of time on slavery. And so that's why we've been spending so much time on it in class. But I do want you to know that African American history is not all slavery. It is not all the doom and gloom and terrible things that absolutely did happen during that time period. But we have to spend time on it because I don't want to say everything, but all I'm gonna say is I don't want to say everything is slavery, but I haven't found anything that's not. Okay? I don't want to say that everything in America is related to slavery. All I'm gonna say is I haven't found something that isn't. Yes, speaking of finding, where is my chapstick? I usually keep a cute little chapstick in this drawer. Some chapstick, some earrings. Now I gotta get up. I'm pretty sure it's clean. Yeah, it's clean. Just give me a sec. That child lips is dry. Like what's going on? Whoo chow. Okay, we're back. And some water is necessary. And this mic picks up everything. I got this mic off of Amazon for like $40. Neil, go to YouTube and watch me live over there. It gets my watch hours up. Also, if you are on TikTok and you want to scooch over to YouTube and watch me be live over there, that would be great because my YouTube watch hours, trying to get those up so I can monetize. Whoo! This is Rames Golden. The way we living in segregation right now, just yesterday, the Trump administration rolled back federal laws that prevent federal spaces from having segregated facilities. Like it's truly a mess. It's truly a mess. We have could it be both? I'm fancy too. Woo. I gotta say, we have been resisting the entire time though. Yeah. And actually, the topic this week was something different. The topic this week, I was going to really get into the messiness that is the Civil War. Because when I tell you the Civil War, I really want a team of people to reenact the Civil War as like a reality TV show. It's 9 o'clock. Take your meds, everyone. I really want a really talented team of people to reenact the Civil War like it was a reality TV show because oh my God, messy boots everywhere, Everybody's fighting, everybody's lying. It's a lot. Slaves running away from the North. It's crazy. It's crazy. But what I saw a lot of was content that talks about how fascism has been fought throughout history, but a lot of people are focusing on other countries when they do that. I notice it's like, well, okay, well, I'm from Italy and here's how we fought a fascist regime, or here's how people resisted in Nazi Germany, or here's how people resisted in Ireland and in Taiwan and Tibet and then places like that have been, colonized and taken over by oppressive regimes, right? But I'm like, y'all, we don't have to look too far for examples of resistance, particularly resistance against oppressive governments and oppressive regimes. Like, we really don't have to do that. We don't have to do that at all. We do not have to go far, because if we talked about African American history, if we talked about slavery as part of a larger fascist project, right? Because what better example of fascism can you get, really? I don't know of a more fascist thing than a nation being created in a contradiction of freedom and slavery, and then trying to maintain a permanent slave class in order to prop up billionaires and maintain a social hierarchy. I don't really understand what's more fascist than that. If y'all can find something more fascist than that, let me know. Because that's giving fascism. Now that's giving fascism, right? So if we talk about resistance, hey, if we talk about resistance to slavery as a way to learn lessons to resist this current occupation of the government, because at this point it's an occupation of the government, right? I mean, the Nazi, hey, I mean, the Nazi Party was duly elected as well, right? The German Nazi Party was duly elected as well. Hi, was duly elected as well, weren't they? And they still tried to take over the whole damn East Europe. So we're in like a truly like an occupied government at this point. You know what I mean? Hey, TikTok, I am live on YouTube right now, actually. Every week I go live on YouTube for our class discussion for our TikTok University class. I don't know what Hillman Talk is doing, but we still having class over here. And every Tuesday I drop a lesson, and then every Thursday we go live for class discussion. So that's what we're doing here. If I'm not looking at y'all, it's because I'm looking over here. And if you would like to join me over on YouTube, that would be great. Yeah. Power to the people, all power, exactly. So let's actually start with one of my one of my favorite forms of resistance, right? Because I think when we think of resistance, we get overwhelmed because we're always thinking about human file for divorce. Oh Lord. We're thinking about violent uprisings, right? We're thinking about violent uprisings. We're thinking about civil war. You know, I kiki about the Civil War, but there's a reason why it was the deadliest war in American history to date. You know what I mean? There's a reason why that statistic is so alarming when we had more deaths from COVID than people who had died in the Civil War. That's a huge deal, right? Because it is rebellion and resistance that dragged that war on so long and cost so many lives, right? And so when a lot of people think resistance, they think that it has to be violent, that it has to be armed, and a lot of people not ready for that. And I don't blame them. A lot of people not ready for that. I wouldn't say I'm ready for that, but if I had to get ready for that, I absolutely would, you know. If y'all follow me on other platforms, you know, militant is a strong word, but it might be an accurate word to describe the mindset I have as far as like how hard we need to be fighting for freedom. Because I feel like as hard as people are fighting to keep us oppressed, I don't see a problem with fighting that hard to be free. Personally. Like the live and everyone hit the subscribe button. Yes, yes, yes. That's how I feel personally. But a lot of people aren't ready for that. But the only kind of resistance and rebellion that we talk about are violent uprisings, right? Violent uprisings. Ooh, TikTok, my phone rang. My bad. See, if you was up on YouTube, you would have to deal with all that. Uh, you know, at this point, Ramesses, I love that name. At this point, I mean, like, yeah. Okay, TikTok, a phone call interrupted us, so let me know if y'all can still see and hear me over there. But yeah, at this point, I mean, right. But because a lot of people aren't there yet, a lot of people are also very overwhelmed and very hopeless, you know? And there are so many ways that resistance can happen. And because we don't learn about it as much, it's really difficult to kind of imagining that happening in real time. But it was absolutely thing, was absolutely happening. Something that we have to be really careful about now, we have to really watch on the laptop now so I can be chatting in the chat. Yes. Yeah, the militant racists be, you know, hey, just gonna, just I mean, why not? They're doing it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm happy that you're here. Nikki, did not know that that was your real name. Okay. You ever see somebody's name on social media over and over and over and over and over again? And I'm like, "Oh, that's your real name." Y'all, my real name is Jamila. I don't know if I've ever said that before, but yeah. People call me Sunny, Sunshine. That's a thing, but my government name is Jamila. Any hoozle, because we don't learn about resistance. We don't learn about that. And so a lot of people will hear that we need to resist and we need to fight and all of these things. And they will think it's something just like insurmountable or something that they can't do. But resistance was always a thing. We need to be really careful, especially now with how Black history is taught, specifically with how slavery is taught, because the Southern strategy is really digging in its heels. The Southern strategy, real quick overview, is the switch was damn near instant. And I got to say, communications wise, marketing wise, it was brilliant. Right, it was brilliant. Immediately after slavery, daughters of the Confederacy, the wives and daughters and the granddaughters of the KKK, they got together and they was like, you know what, we can't go down in history as the bad guys. And they've been working to this day to make sure that we understand slavery entirely differently than how it actually happened. And one of the ways they do that is to put forth this narrative of like the complacent slave, the happy slave, right? The like romanticizing the antebellum South, like post Civil War South, pre Civil War South, that is all romanticized as something that we should aspire to, something that we should go back to, right? And that enslaved people were perfectly happy with their condition until some radicals convinced them that they weren't. Right, learning curve. Yeah, there are yeah, I'm TJ too, just not over there. Just not over here, totally fine. Also TikTok, if you're joining me from TikTok, I'm live on YouTube and y'all can pop over there. If y'all want to see me over there and if y'all want to help me get the watch hours up over there. Yeah, they want people to believe that slavery wasn't barbaric. They want people to believe that slaves were complacent and happy in their condition. And some radicals came along and convinced them that they were not happy in order to keep people divided. Does that sound familiar? Sounds very familiar with how a lot of people in dominant groups talk about oppressed groups, right? A lot of the red pill men have that mindset now, because why would an enslaved person want to be free? A side quest that I'm working on is called Drapetomania. Yeah, they made up a syndrome. They made up a syndrome. A racist psychologist wrote this paper and had it published and distributed. And he named wanting to be free as a mental illness, and he called it Drapetomania. So yeah, crazy. Yeah, they did that big one with the revisionist history. They did that for real, for real. A lot of red pill men now kind of copy that ideology too. They copy that ideology as well. They say, oh, well, women were happy being stay-at-home wives and mothers and more traditional until some radical feminists got in their head and convinced them that they needed to dye their hair blue and live differently. It's very, 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 very true. It's very, very true. How, yeah, very, very true. They literally just made up a mental illness and then started to criminalize that mental illness, right? The criminalization of mental illness. It's a slavery thing. For real. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I saw that yesterday. Trump derangement syndrome. That I truly had to turn the news off. I was like, "Oh wow, 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 wow." Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. I can't believe it. I mean, I can, but I can't. Yeah. So there's always been a master narrative that resistance either wasn't necessary And when it was necessary, it was to keep the radicals under control who were trying to convince people that they weren't happy with their oppression. But that's not actually true. That's not true. So let's talk about the form of resistance that I actually forgot to talk about in the lesson, and I uploaded a little 1 minute long side quest over on Patreon. Hey, TikTok, we are talking about resistance. We're talking about resistance during slavery times. That's part of our TikTok University class, Intro to African American History. It's over on my Patreon. On my Patreon, I upload a lesson every Tuesday, and then we go live every Thursday. So what you're watching is me being live on YouTube. Scooch over there if you would like to support me over there. Back to their old trick, man. Back to their old tricks is crazy. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, plantation tours are weird. Plantation tours are weird. Like you can tell it's like, I need to see the theme that they're working with, before I go and visit one, because they're weird. But anyway, one of my favorite forms of resistance was poisoning slave masters. Yeah, let's just go ahead and rip the band-aid off. It's not funny at all. um, when you acquire knowledge that your master doesn't yet have, when you acquire knowledge that your master won't admit is knowledge, because then they would have to admit that you were a human being with a functioning brain just like them. You can do a lot of things to manipulate that. You can do a whole lot of things to manipulate that. And one of the things you can do is take cultural knowledge. I don't know. Hey, don't sneak. We see you. Everybody stare. No, I'm kidding. The door of my class is always open. You are not late. Hello, hello. Take a seat. Take a seat. Take a seat. Take a seat. Grab a snack. I do not have peanuts in my class because folks be allergic. But anything else, grab a snack. Grab a water. Let's go. Yeah, shout out to Matthew. You're gonna be here every week. Period. I should be live. I'm Sunny Day Jones on YouTube. I'm over here. Yeah. Poisoning slave masters was a thing. You might could take some of that knowledge of the land that you've been forced to, plant and till and harvest on. You might take some knowledge of those plants, of those nuts and berries that grow wild. Yeah, you might do that. You might poison someone. Maybe. Y'all know what poke salad is? Poke salad is a well, first off, I don't even be giving y'all a chance to answer. Y'all know what poke salad is? Hi. Yeah, I'm waiting for the comments to see if anybody know what it is. I'm also deeply Southern, so I'm not surprised if I'm one of the only people in the room who knows what poke salad is. So a poke salad is a leafy green that grows. You do, period. I know what pokeweed. Yes, same thing. Pokeweed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I respond from New York State. No. Heard of it, but never had it. You never had it because it's poisonous. Yeah, it's an orange man that might be allergic to pokeweed. Yeah, so it's called pokeweed, and it's a leafy green that grows in the same way as, like, if you were a kid, again, a deeply Southern thing, if you were a kid and, like, picked honeysuckle off the honeysuckle tree and ate it, it's deeply Southern and country like that. Think like acorns, you know what I mean? I know for a fact, and I'm probably gonna make a separate video for social media dedicated to this, because I know for a fact that the Black Forager, I know that she has had at least one episode about pokeweed. So pokeweed is edible, but here's the thing: you got to cook the poison out of it first, and that takes a long time. So you got to boil it for a while, and then change the water, and boil it again. And then even then it takes the form of like overcooked greens, and it ends up being edible. You know what I mean? It ends up being edible. Like you could, if you were making some mixed greens, like you would have like turnips and collards and mustards and some pokeweed in there, to kind of like fill it up. But yeah, you gotta cook the poison out of them. And if you don't, it's poisonous, and not just no little poisonous either. No, like it don't take a whole lot to shut somebody's respiratory system down. Doesn't take a whole lot to leave somebody like laid out, nauseated for days. But if you were a slave master who wasn't cooking your own food, how would you know that? Just toss a little bit in the mixed greens. Raw, oh my God, it will kill you. Raw pokeweed, especially if you're like a vulnerable population, like if you're elder or a child, or you have respiratory problems, raw pokeweed will kill you. Yeah. It cannot. It does not taste good enough to gamble like that. It doesn't. Um, but here's the thing. Black people, because we were either not given food, given short rations of food, or given quite literally the scraps of like, chitlins and stuff, we often had to make do, right? So pokeweed um was used to maybe stretch out a pot of greens. You know what I mean? You would add it to a pot of like mixed greens to stretch it out a little bit. Wouldn't use a lot, that type of stuff. Hi, thank you. Hi. Yeah. So poke, like to poke weed, poke salad. Yeah, that's a thing. Stop taking notes. Well, take notes, but leave them notes somewhere else, where the feds can't find them. Also, feds, I know you're listening to this, to my personal FBI agent. This is for learning purposes only. Yeah. But yeah, that was very common. And then you didn't always need to unalive a slave master. You didn't always need to do that, right? Because remember I said it didn't always have to be extreme. It didn't always have to be extreme. It didn't always have to be extreme. What if you just needed a couple more days? You needed to hide somebody for a couple more days. And master's making his rounds tomorrow, but you need like 2 or 3 more days. Just a little bit, just a little bit. What if you take a little bit yourself? Because you need to slow down production. And so you need to be sick enough to say that you're sick for 3 or 4 days. Yeah. Natural causes. We don't know. You ate something. Y'all drop something in my Cash App or Venmo, because oh my God, I just got an insufficient funds. I just got an insufficient funds alert on my phone. Bro, this is crazy. I'm in the very early stages of making content, my full-time gig, and God, like sometimes it's bumpy, and I'm ready for the bumpy phase to be over. And since we all here, drop some in my Cash App for my Venmo, if you would please. I would gladly appreciate that during the lesson. But yeah, just make him a little bit sick, just a little bit sick, because it's about incremental resistance as well. Just a little incapacitation, Sabotage. Speaking of sabotage, yeah, you could sabotage. We sure can go in depth to the Nat Turner. We can go in depth of the Nat Turner approach. We sure can. Yep, since we live right now. I don't talk about it in a lesson this time though, because I do want to make clear that there's so many different ways that you can resist. Sabotage was another one. Sabotaging crops was absolutely a thing. Sabotaging workflow was absolutely a thing. Like, we are the original supply chain. We're the original supply chain. Enslaved people are the original supply chain in this country. And so all it takes is just one part of that chain to be messed up, for one part of that chain to be delayed. And then, mind you, we're also talking about crops in a lot of situations. We're talking about crops in a lot of situations. where 2 weeks where 2 weeks could mean the difference between healthy crops and a frost. We're talking, let's say, a bakery, right? Let's say baked goods. Let's say that. Baking bread over a hot stove. 2 minutes is the difference between a good product and something you have to literally throw away. Slowing down production, whew, sometimes slowing down production can be more effective than stopping it altogether. Because stopping it altogether, which people absolutely did, enslaved people absolutely just refused to work at all. But it was also very dangerous, right? That was also very dangerous. That was also very risky. It was risky for you. It was risky to those around you, because if you refused to work, they was just gonna make the person next to you work double to take up your slack. That's what they was gonna do. Everybody else is gonna have to work more because you refused. And then you were also gonna be punished, right? And then maybe your kids might be punished just to make sure you wouldn't do that again. Maybe your kids will be sold just to make sure you wouldn't do that again. Sold up the river is a real thing. Sold up the river actually was real, right? Yes, absolutely. It's where group punishment started. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they also knew what? They also knew that we were way more community minded. And so it mattered to us if the person next to us was harmed, right? So there were also plenty of reasons why the resistance could not be as overt all the time. It couldn't be. But covert resistance is just as effective, maybe even more. Slowing down work production was one of the most common forms of resistance. One of the most common forms of resistance. Because it worked. It simply worked. Yes. Yeah, well, technically the first people to be criminals in the stolen United States were people who did not pay debts. Yeah. So the origin of prisons was not actually for crime. Um, People who committed crimes were executed. That's what that was. That's what that was. Cruel and unusual punishment was still a thing back then. But prisons were actually more like debtors' prisons. So if you could not pay a debt, you were in jail. If you were not paying your taxes, you were in jail, right? That's what would happen. Mhm. Crazy. Very, very, very much so crazy. Yeah. So you had a lot of people who just slowed down the means of production. Slowed down the means of production. What if you're producing 1,000 pounds of cotton every month, and this month you only produced 800, or next season you only produce half of that? You can't really blame that on anybody. You can't really blame that on anybody. You're just like, whoops, must have been a bad season this year. Damn. I'm sure it'll be better next time. Don't worry. I'm sure it'll be better next time. Small acts of resistance. Wait, is this how black on black violence started? Like the stereotype? The stereotype of black on black crime started from something called the Moynihan Report. A researcher named Moynihan went into for speaking of, because of the horrors of slavery, of Jim Crow, and of Reconstruction, of the things like that, the government decided that they were going to fake rectify it. So this guy named Moynihan went into Black communities and studied and studied and did research and released the Moynihan Report. And that report said, you know what Black folks are going through, it ain't really the government's fault. You know, they be killing each other, and their women are real masculine, and they be running off the men. And it's really the family, the Black family is the problem, actually. So until they fix that, I feel like we, the US, the government, we don't really have to do nothing. Sound familiar? Yes. Yes, malicious compliance. Malicious compliance. Yeah, I mean, you just told us we had to work. You didn't tell us like for how long. I mean, yeah, you gave us a quota, but if the ground isn't fertile, the ground isn't fertile. Knowing good and damn well that you done salted the ground, right? And salt absolutely ruins soil. You can take advantage of the knowledge that you have that your master does not have. Did you know there's some crops that you can't plant close together? There are some crops that you can't plant in the same soil over and over and over again. Like you should rotate your crops. Shout out to George Washington Carver. Like you should rotate your crops in order to continue to get high yields and things like that. Some stuff don't grow in drier soil. Did you know that? You know that because you the one been working the land, but your master don't know that. So you're like, yeah, plant that cotton all the time. Yeah, you want to expand? I mean, yeah, that soil look different, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Knowing good and damn well that it won't be. Yeah. They would let bugs just destroy crops. Just absolutely destroy crops. Knowing that they're knowing that lemongrass is a really good insecticide. They'll just be like, no, never mind. Don't even worry about it. Damn, they destroyed them. Breaking tools. That's how Virginia became a slave breeding state. Absolutely. In Virginia, by 1860, the biggest export in Virginia was people. hmm When you're in school and you learn about imports and exports, and you might see a cute little map that talks about everything that each state is famous for exporting. Like Georgia, it's peaches and peanuts. In Florida, it's oranges. In Idaho, it's potatoes. In Virginia, in 1860, it was human beings. Oh, crazy. Thanks. Nuts. Breaking tools was also another very effective and efficient way because efficient way to rebel, to resist, because again, that's something that can't really be blamed on a particular person, right? Like, oh, it just broke. Oh, we left it out last season. We don't know. It rusted. Whoops. Yeah. But you couldn't go to Home Depot back then and be just like, oh, okay, I'll just go get another rake. Nah, you can just go to Home Depot and get another rake. You had to hire a blacksmith who was probably also black. Because what they don't tell you is that slavery, the machine of slavery, the society of slavery was so much more than farming, right? Black people did not become lazy and unskilled until we stopped working for free. As soon as Black people stopped working for free, then we were lazy, then we were unqualified, then we did not have the proper skills. But no. On the contrary, post Civil War, we were the only people who had skills. Black and indigenous people were the only people who had skills. White folks didn't know how to do nothing because we had been doing everything. The opportunities to sabotage were endless. Absolutely endless. Breaking tools was another one, was another really good thing that you could do. Because making a whole nother rake took time. Another thing that you could do, you could sabotage the animals, right? John Deere didn't make them little farming machines back then. Horses had to pull those giant rakes, had to pull those what do you call it, a hoe, had to till the land. Horses had to do that. But what if they died? Damn, that's crazy. We got chickens. We could sell the chickens for eggs. Oh, damn. I don't know what. They ate some of that poke salad and they died. That's crazy. Sabotage. This the part where you tell us how the ASPCA was spelled. I got a whole list of organizations, child, on a serious tip for real, for real, for real. Cause man, this the sabotage opportunities were absolutely endless. Absolutely endless because of just how little colonizers were able to do for themselves and just how much they were reliant on the labor of Black people. Nuts. I also talk about in the lesson, hey TikTok, if you are joining me here and you have no idea what's going on, I am live for our class discussion over on YouTube. On YouTube every week we have a lesson for Intro to African American History. So if you would like to pop over to YouTube live and watch me over there, that would be great. It would help me get the views up. If you appreciate, like, share the live, do all the things. If you would like to drop something in my Cash App or Venmo, that would be lovely because who the account is overdrawn, honey. Not for real. I literally just got a little notice. Oh my God. It's okay. It's okay. Of course, I'm a spiritual woo-woo girl. Of course. And I don't believe that I don't believe that God would leave me without what I need and a lot of the things that I want. My ancestors were northern slaves, right? So textile manufacturing, artists and trades. People really do believe. People really do believe that slavery was not a thing in the North. Y'all, the North, the North is directional only. It is not some line in the sand where like, oh, past Virginia, it wasn't no slavery ever. Like, come on now. Come on now. Because once the cotton is picked, who processes it? Who processes it? Has much changed since then? Not a whole lot. Because literally, like, they could be doing all of this resisting. And if I see one more person get on the internet, one more white person get on the internet, go, what do we do? Or even tell Black people, where you at? Or ask Kamala Harris, where you, oh no, the history books lied. Right. Okay. Yes. If I see one more white lady ask where Kamala Harris is, it's like, first off, that lady is not required to do a job that she did not get hired for. Chill. Glad you're back. Like, come on now. Let's not. If I see one more person basically ask where the Black people are to work for our freedom this time, y'all, like, everybody chill, bro. Come on. The history books lied, minding her damn business. Man, she put that silk press in a ponytail and said, I'm finna go play with my nieces. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Oh man. Okay. Let's slide over here. So, something else that I also have to touch on, 54 minutes, we good. I usually yap for like an hour and 15, honestly. I say an hour, but it really be like an hour and 15, maybe an hour and a half. So, and let's discuss this in the comments. Let's discuss this. So, there is it's crazy. It's crazy work. You got people together, I'm sure, I'm sure you got some white folks who just woke up to injustice, who are fired up and ready to go. Go give them a March T-shirt. Go give them a new something. Go make some new organization and give them something to join and get them an email list to sign up for, because you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. God, we was out here holding hands with conservatives, trying to get y'all to see, trying to get y'all to see. And look, child, the F around and find out, and all those protests have had no interruptions. Act literally to use us as shields. You know that's what they doing. Crazy work. Around and find out. Actually, and I'm gonna need to make a cute little video. Hey, I need to make a cute little video about this too, because people are saying fuck around and find out, faithful, whatever. But there is a moment that there's a saying that I actually think might work a little bit better. So, The Princess and the Frog, right? Of course, we've all seen Tiana. It's lovely. If you haven't seen it, go on Disney Plus right now. Literally leave my live and go watch it. Oh my God, it's great. Uh, little black girls get to have a little Disney princess, because the closest I got as a kid was Esmeralda, and that was it. But in The Princess and the Frog, Prince Naveen has to make a deal. And he makes a deal with the villain, Dr. Facilier, and he turns into a frog. And at the end of Dr. Facilier's villain song, Friends on the Other Side, shout out to Keith David, because what can't Keith David do? At the very tail end of the song, you can barely hear it because it's like the song's finna be over. But the chorus background of women, the background singers say, "You got what you wanted, but you lost what you had." And I think that is the description that we need to roll with. Yeah, because they don't think they fucked around. They don't think they fucked around. They think they did a great job. They still, to this day, a lot of them think they made the right decision. Yeah, you got what you wanted, but you lost what you had. Child. You shook hands with the devil so you could get immigrants deported. For what? Type in the chat right now how much eggs cost where you at. Type right now. Type right now how much eggs are. Fun fact, I'm allergic to eggs. So for a while, I never paid attention to how much eggs were, because why would I need to know? But I do know that $9.99 for a carton of like the regular white eggs, the cheap ones, I do know that that's not normal. $8.99. That's out of control. That's nuts. And don't eat the brown eggs. Don't eat the Eggland's Best that I see on TV that's supposed to be like super good and grass fed and whatever all them stamps and stickers for organic is at. It's about a dozen for $5, and 5 sound like it's on sale. Actually, both. So for a dozen, our local grocery store, the cheapest grocery store, that's not like Walmart or Aldi, is a place for us. It's called Kroger. For you, it might be Dillon's or Ralph's. There is the cheapest I've seen a dozen eggs, and the dozen eggs were $9.99. They didn't even have the 6 count. I haven't seen the 6 count in like a month. Oh no, I said don't let you be somebody who eats brown eggs, because those are more expensive. So don't come over here eating brown eggs. Then they could be $12, $13. Who knows? Smith's is Kroger in Vegas. Okay. Yeah, actually, yeah. Our more expensive store is either Ingles or Publix. That might be Hy-Vee where you live. Yeah, those eggs is crazy. What you talking about, Chad? Got a podcast. actually I'm live over on YouTube for our weekly talk for the intro to African American history class. We're talking about resistance and what resistance looked like in the times of slavery and how that relates to today. Finally, brown skin valued more. And you can buy them oh, that's a good, you can buy them for like 50 cents. Okay. Because for me, I would need to do that. I would need to because some sciencey shit happens where I can, if you bake with an egg, that's totally fine. It's not like, oh, we need to do an egg-free dessert for Sunny. But if you were to fry an egg in front of me right now, I would literally have to leave. Like I would have to leave the room. I'd have to take a Benadryl and I have to go outside for some fresh air. Fair. I don't look at the money. Yeah, shout out to WIC, which they also trying to take away. I just like y'all. Whew, how do we get here? Oh my God. We're talking about resistance and how that relates to today, and we got the egg prices. Oh yeah, because I said, oh, since Trump is doing so good, since everything's fine, everybody tell me how much eggs are where they live. Yeah. And then we did that because we're talking about how in the present day, white folks still expect Black people to be out in the front lines, like as like shields, like fighting for them. Yes. So then we talked about modes of resistance. Okay, got you. In this climate, oh, that's the science stuff. You're allergic to the raw protein. Once it cooks, you're fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm allergic. I'm like, yeah, no, like my body will actively reject even the smell of like scrambled eggs. We all right. I mean, the chemical spill, here's the thing. So it's cleaned up. We are actively fighting to say, hey, that rebuild thing, no, absolutely not. Like, get that shit out of our neighborhood. Like, hate it. Like, get it out of here. So that's where we are now. Because of course they're trying to like rebuild and safety standards and like here's doing little 3D AI models of the new facility that they want to build. And we're like, actually, how about hell no? How about you don't do that? So that's what we're doing. Right. Do your part in the group project. Okay. Look, I am much further to the left than a Democrat. Okay. Right. Um, I don't I know that we can't vote our way to freedom. I know all that. And bruh, bruh. Like what? Come on now. Come on. Come on. And quite honestly, let's just side note, I feel like there are a lot of folks had too many feelings about electoral politics for me anyway. It's like I personally will not be judging anything that was established on the basis of me being 3/5 of a person. I actually won't do that. I actually refuse to do that. I quite literally refuse to judge you for how you vote in a system that is only the way it is because they want me back in change. You know what I mean? It's only that is only the system. It's only what it is. Like the this system is only the way it is because these stolen United States wanted to have freedom and slavery at the same time, wanted to have democracy and slavery at the same time. I'm not finna sit here and do this with y'all. You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm not finna sit here and do that with y'all. I'm not finna sit here and do this with y'all. I'm not. Right. Yeah, it's y'all turn. I don't want to derail. Have you talked much about the cop city in Atlanta? Where you are? Yes. Oh, yes. So actually I'll do a side quest on that. I will, Nikki. I will, because that needs to still be discussed. Atlanta decided to take $90 million and build a police training facility in the middle of the only forest in DeKalb County, in the middle of one of the blackest parts of Atlanta. It's pretty wild. Yeah. All the wildest potholes all in the road. Emergency personnel finna strike because they not getting proper funding. Like, it's crazy. Insane. Yep, insane. Resistance. I gotta shift gears because before we go, I also want to have this discussion in the chat, right? Because now there's a big debate in like the activist world over whether or not um certain things are active resistance, right? So is rest resistance? Is writing resistance? Is being on TikTok making videos about Black history and active resistance? Is existing in a white space and active resistance, right? Everybody's making lists of things and doing like and putting them in a is this resistance column, yes or no, trying to make fucking flow charts, trying to decide whether or not something is resistance or it can be considered resistance. What do y'all think when it comes to things like writing, when it comes to things that are not like um active acts of resistance today, put a pin in that, that are now no longer like direct acts of defiance sometimes, that are more even more subtle than, hiding tools and running away. Do y'all think those are acts of resistance? Mhm. Absolutely. Got a comment from TikTok, and yes, the Israeli army and Atlanta Police Department have like a cute little exchange program. It's pretty terrible. Um, mhm. Anything the government don't want seen in society space, yes. This argument annoys me. Everybody has a role to play. Mhm. I think Malcolm X is onto something. So do I. I think that there's lots of people who are right in the conversation. Refusing to let your voice die unexpressed. Whoo-wee! Let mm, I don't know how yeah, we're going to show that comment, absolutely. I don't know how I haven't bought them in months. I have a friend with chicken, so I'm gonna be getting eggs from her. Okay. I bet we still on eggs, all these things. Um, Anything that keeps us alive and inspires us. Waking up, I know that's right. Some folks gonna rest. I think Malcolm X had. Let's show that comment too. I think man was on to something. Okay, was on to something. Right. Everyone plays. See, we on the same page over here. We on the same page over here. See, my people, we got the sense to see. I knew. I feel like unapologetic joy. Yes. Laughing in this class. Absolutely. Smells like white supremacy culture. So I'm glad we're on the same page because I am absolutely, it is resistance. This class is absolutely resistance. Um, because to think that I'm doing something right now that is illegal to do in actual classrooms is insane. Yeah. Actually just came to that conclusion just now. I'm gonna have to journal through that. Like I'm literally doing something right now that's illegal in a lot of classrooms across the country right now. I'm teaching a class, Intro to African American History, I'm not making nothing up. I'm not I'm not pushing agendas, right? I'm telling you things that happen, giving you sources, and we're discussing it. It is Neil. Sir, Neil. But you're not wrong. So, yeah, epiphany. Yeah, it's giving epiphany. It's absolutely giving epiphany. Yeah, like what I am doing right now. Earlier this week it made me so sad. It made me so sad. Um like actively the emotion I felt was sadness. A teacher was told to take down a did this little girl write one of my village children, because it takes a village. So this child isn't mine, but yes, she is. She just turned 7 yesterday. And do believe that she has written on my external monitor. Yes, we're going to have a discussion. I see scribbles. But in fairness, I haven't explained to her the differences between some screens, and my laptop converts into a tablet. It's on hinges, and she writes on my iPad and she writes on my tablet. So I don't know how she's supposed to think that she can write on my external monitor as well. Um, yes, ours is a history of resistance. Like I am doing something right now. Sorry, before the shiny object distracted me. Um, a teacher, did y'all hear about the teacher who had a sign in her she had a sign on her door that said everyone is welcome here, and it had different colored hands with like hearts in between, and her administration told her to take it down. It told her to take the sign down. And they did that. I don't know if I could say it like this on TikTok, y'all, but that's why we gotta go on YouTube where I can run my mouth a little bit more. Um, of course, the administration bitched out, right? The administration bitched out and they said, well, we agree. We don't disagree with that, but it might maybe ruffle some feathers as far as the administration goes. They made her take that sign down. I also shed a tear. I also started to cry. Like they made her take that sign down. The sign said everyone is welcome, and the administration said someone might have a problem with that. And instead of standing by her, they obeyed in advance and said, take the sign down. Like if you the sign said everyone is welcome, and they made her take the sign down. I yeah, I truly that was a day. Yeah. They thought the sign was DEI. Child, they thought the sign was DEI. I'd have I also, Nikki, I really do wonder like what what the parents in her class have to say about that. I don't know. I've village children, right? I have 3 of them. I've been up to their school for much less. I've been up to their school putting that southern auntie bass in my voice for much less than that. Like, I just like, "Hi, I just wanna know, we're in Georgia, and this is a Georgia studies book. Are my kids required to do the Ronald Reagan lesson? Can they have an alternative assignment? I'd appreciate that." Yeah. Psh, child. Hey, if you are joining me over here on TikTok and you're wondering why I'm not facing you, it is because I am live on YouTube as part of my class discussion. We're actually getting ready to wind down, although I might pop back up on TikTok and just read for a little bit because I'm not necessarily like super tired. But anyway, I say that every time and then I get out, I log off and I barely even get the computer closed and I'm asleep. A board of ed meeting hate to see me coming. Child, I am a citizen of Rockdale. I am a citizen. Okay. I ain't gotta have no kids. I went to school here. Same thing. I went to school here. I'm not finna be dealing with this. A board of ed meeting hate to see me coming. My mayor loves running into me at Applebee's. I mean, yeah, I said that last time, but I'll be saying that all the time. Cause exactly, Crystal. Like, why it's not the other way around? What if I say I want my child to learn about Black history? Do you have an alternative assignment they can do? I want my child to read Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry for summer reading. Can they read that instead of Much Ado About Nothing or whatever the hell Shakespeare, whatever dead white guy they got them kids reading? No, I would like my child to read Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. Can they do that? My YouTube is Sunny Day Jones. I am live over there, Sunny Day Jones. So we were all talking about all these different things and if they're acts of resistance. Absolutely they are. Absolutely are. They are. And that is another way that enslaved people actively resisted. Um, I will never make the argument that XYZ isn't resistance because I know the history of Black people doing whatever XYZ thing could quite literally get them killed 300 years ago. Could quite literally get them killed 50 years ago. Could quite literally get them killed 70 years ago. Opening a store, learning to read, learning to write, writing a book, sewing a dress, sitting down on a bus. When we get into Rosa Parks, oh, we're gonna go so deep. We're gonna go so deep into Rosa Parks. Because if you read her autobiography, she talks about actually, I wasn't planning to do that day. I was just tired. I had worked all day and I was tired. She also talks about actually how that bus driver was known for being mean and nasty, and particularly nasty to the women. And she said, actually, in her autobiography, she said that if she had been paying attention, she was so tired she wasn't paying attention. She just got on the bus. And if she had noticed that it was him driving the bus, she wouldn't have got on. But she was so tired she didn't even stop to look. And if you ask her why she refused to get up, I mean, yes, she was the activist and all these things beforehand. And yeah, of course, all the civil rights organizations were at the ready. You know what I mean? Because of it wasn't like a stage thing, right? Some acts of resistance were like stage things. I think about Plessy versus Ferguson. Actually, Plessy versus Ferguson was a case actually about segregated train cars. And a Black man actually went and purposefully sat down in the white train car and refused to get up. And then that started went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And that's how Plessy versus Ferguson was actually, started. In my lifetime, 50 people have died for being in interracial relationships. Been married almost 25 years. Congratulations on your marriage. And I will never know how big of a risk that was back then. That was And that's just the people we know about, right? That's just the people we know about. You said you're 50. People have died. Oh, you're 50 and you said people have died. Oh yeah, for being in interracial relationships. Absolutely. For even not even getting to the relationship part, for even liking someone of a different race. Like, yeah, wrong place, right time. And we haven't even gotten to those levels of resistance yet, because that's crazy. It's like you give black folks a little bit more freedom, and the first thing they're gonna do is be like, when is the protest? Oh, you said we can gather without massa now? Oh, period. Oh, let's get it popping. But yeah, I think all of those things are acts of resistance because all of those things could very well have gotten us killed just a very short time ago. Yes, teaching Black history is resistance. Yes, writing is resistance. Black people writing, engaged engaged in a creative process when they were literally arguing in academic journals that our brains were smaller. Yeah, active resistance. They've literally been arguing and to this day argue that our IQs are lower. So we shouldn't be flying planes. And that DEI is the reason for such things. Like it's truly it's wild. Those things are acts of resistance too. Frederick Douglass, Phyllis Wheatley were either enslaved or formerly enslaved and writing their stories down. Because you also get a counter narrative with that. Even existing, even existing. Miraculous, quite literally. You have you have these people who are literally risking their lives to write their stories down. Quite literally risking their lives to document other people's stories. Ida B. Wells Barnett, there is no investigative journalism without her. There is no investigative journalism without her. Documenting the stories of men, women, and children who were lynched in throughout the South. They had a hit out on that lady head. Okay, they was taking out literal hit ads in the newspaper for that lady. Because why did the Black church stop TGA? That's a whole other conversation. Risk their lives. Risk their lives to write. Are you kidding me? It is absolutely an act of resistance. Risk their lives to teach. Teaching each other how to read in back rooms, in barns. How, right? How? To this day, they can't figure out how the pyramids was built. To this day. To this day, one of the greatest marvels in the whole globe. Don't nobody know how it was done. Radicalizing my more white person. Super spies. Period. Whew. I think I might ask that question. I don't know. That might be a little too sensitive question, but I always wanted to know, like, for biracial people or like white presenting people, what do other white people say around you when they think that you're a racist like they are? Oh, they swear it was aliens. It had to be aliens. Had to be. Y'all. Hey, I got accused of plagiarizing. Wow. Right, because you couldn't possibly write it yourself. Absolutely. It's an act of resistance. Hazing each other to build strength? I don't what does that mean? For real, truly, like the act of resistance, the act of reading, the acts of reading, writing, creative, because to a group of people who have dehumanized you to the point where they literally think your brain is smaller, what does it mean for you to be able to not only write about your story, but be able to have the complex thought of, I know what is happening to me. I know it is bad. I know you're doing it and you need to stop. That's wild. That's wild. Absolutely. And you better believe that enslaved people resisted in that way too. Thank you. All right, cool kids. We're gonna go ahead. Yeah, we had an hour and a half. I just be yapping, and I could. This is one of my yeah, 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 yeah. Lightly, lightly, lightly. My youngest and my hubby said they say the wildest, like we really aren't people to them. I don't. It's one of that's one of those questions where like I'm actually scared to ask. I'm literally scared to ask. Or if you're like a white person that's like, you know, not down with that racism shit. Like, what? If you're like white and you're like not down with that racism shit, what have other white people said to you when they think you're like one of them? I'm not even sure I want to know. Oh, a 24-hour stream. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh my God, what if I can get other people? Oh no. And we on the level where you could DM me, friend. I want to know. Do I want to know? Oh my God. I don't know if I want to know. I'm so scared. I've literally video idea has been sitting in multiple notebooks for years, but I'm quite literally afraid of what people's answers will be. Oh yeah, click the thumbs up too. Yep, do all the things. I'm scared, y'all. Oh, 24-hour stream. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Just talk and talk and talk. Super casual. I can only imagine the like, yeah, cause I mean, yeah, you know, like I mean not like that, but like, you know, like ah okay, the way I can yap, but resistance is one of my favorite things to yap about because you don't learn about that. Like, we don't learn about the ways that people resisted oppression. We never learn about the way we don't learn about labor unions. Every single historical moment that you learn about in like your American history class or your government class, there is a labor history movement to go along with that. I take PTO just to say. I think we can plan that. I think we can plan that. We can go through some books. I'll invite some guests. Like, I actually had never thought about that before, but like, of course, yes. Duh, of course, yes. But I can never stop talking about the ways that people resist oppression because you don't learn about that. And the reason why you don't learn about that is because they don't want you to know that it's possible. They want you to think that we have to make up resistance all by ourselves, and we absolutely don't. That we're starting over from scratch with resistance and fighting back. We have to do that all the time. Oh, do I read nonfiction? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. What am I reading right now? Hold on. Where is it? It's on the floor. Where is it at? Oh, it's on, of course, it's on the floor. It's called Our History Has Always Been Contraband. Oh yeah, I'm literally never gonna stream from my phone again. Like, please look at the quality of that. Yeah. I have a YouTube video. It's like 25 minutes where I'm just sitting here reading this book silently. If you would like to just literally listen to me read or watch me read or just do the body doubling thing. But I'm reading this. It is edited by Colin Kaepernick, Robin D.G. Kelly, and Kian Gilmata Taylor. So Colin Kaepernick, a very familiar name by now. Robin D.G. Kelly is one of the most brilliant men, literally one of the most brilliant men alive, quite literally. Quite literally. He's a genius. Just he writes nonfiction about black political thought. Brilliant. Kianga Yamada Taylor, also brilliant. Name again, my bad. Sorry, TikTok. Our history has always been contraband in defense of Black studies. And what's really cool about this book is that they have an introduction, they have a conclusion, and the entire section of this book is called The History They Don't Want You to Know. And it has excerpts of literally almost all of the people that we have talked about in the lesson today. Excerpts of their writings are in here. So um, I love a good anthology because you can get so much for your money. This is a really good book. I have it. I know in my bio, in my link tree, I have a book database of every book I've ever recommended ever. I know for a fact this book is on there. Yeah. So that's what I'm reading right now. That is the nonfiction I'm reading. And the fiction I'm reading is actually an audiobook. It's called Pardon My Frenchie. It's a romance novel about a dog lover and a dog hater who are forced to spend a lot of time together. Very enemies to lovers, very cute. Oh, do I read fiction? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. I do read fiction. I have a whole wall of fiction. Let me see. Let me see. Something that I was reading that isn't um pardon my Frenchie. Oh. The Violin Conspiracy. It's published a couple of years ago. Oh my god, it's brilliant. It's about a young black man. He is a savant violin player. He's a savant violin player. He has a family violin that he literally like dusts off in a basement. And then come to find out, it's a really expensive, fancy violin. And on the eve of a very, very, very important violin performance, the violin goes missing. That is all I can tell you without spoilers. But this was one of those books that I lost sleep over. Like I literally was under my covers like I was when I was a kid. Like, oh my god, like I have to finish. It was like that. The Violin Conspiracy is another one. It's a really good one. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite like fiction books. I'm so glad you joined too. I'm so glad you joined too. Yeah. I'm gonna watch the playback to see if the quality on YouTube is what I want because on StreamYard with the free version, I can only stream in 720p. And that's very millennial. That's a very millennial video quality. So I'm going to upgrade maybe. Maybe. Um yeah, I'm gonna upgrade maybe next month so that I can get like 4K resolution up in here. The quality's good. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because if I can get away with the free version of StreamYard, quite literally, it's doing everything I needed to do. When I tell you, you are like the fifth person who has recommended James to me. But okay, here's the thing. If you've read James, thank you. If you've read James, do I have to read Huckleberry Finn? Because I ain't read that since middle school. Yeah, I've been reading since I was 4, so everything people was reading in high school, I read when I was like 11. Um, do I have to read Huckleberry Finn to understand James? We'll see. You don't need to read. Okay, well then I'll pick up James because that was the only reason why I haven't picked it up because I was like, dang, I gotta like, I gotta read Huck Finn. I gotta go to the Goodwill find that one. Loosely based on it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of autism. Autism. I was reading when I was like 3. Middle school books are really good. I'm actually starting my collection of Goosebumps books. I want all the Goosebumps books that I had when I was a kid. And it's been really fun like finding them. It's been really good finding them. I want to find some of the original covers though. I want to find some of the original covers of Say Cheese and Die Again. You know what I mean? Like those books were really good. Um I bet you R.L. Stein a creep. That was random thought. I bet you please no. Oh, it is, huh? It is. Yes, it is absolutely a treasure. I'm looking for Goosebumps. I'm looking for another series called The Boxcar Children. Um, that was I was deep in the Boxcar Children bag. Oh yes, the kid classics are great, and they're even better when you're an adult because you can actually really like. I mean, we understood what we were reading as kids, but now it's like adults. We have way better cognition, so it's like even better. Yeah, the treasure hunt for Goosebumps is on. Okay. All right. I am going to shut everything down. I finally have a content setup that I like. It's really cute. It's really beautiful. And I'm going to go watch Bob's Burgers. That's my comfort show. I might even catch up on some Jeopardy. Who doesn't still read Star Wars? It's literally like, come on, it's a world to escape into. You know what? We got to have a whole side quest about how nerds don't understand social justice. Sometimes I'm confused at that. I'm very confused. I'm confuzzled. My brain, one time I was talking to somebody at this bar and he was like, not flirting, but friendly conversation. We watching the game. I'm not too good to go to a dive bar and watch the game and eat some wings, right? We talking about Star Wars, and he's like, I mean, yeah, people compare it to like, stuff going on today, but I mean, it only works if like that analogy only works actually if the US is the empire. I was like, the point is right here, and you are right here. Like you are so close. It's like you're so close. Ah! Like, how do you not understand that? What? I mean, actually, so nerd dude bro just was making this profound argument like knee deep in a beer. Like, oh, I mean, I could yeah, you don't. It only works actually, if you think the US is like the empire. Whew. We got that's gonna take a panel discussion because people I just don't get how people don't get it. I don't understand. Like, what are you not like? Are we just laying our eyes on the words and the themes? Like, what do y'all think? I'm just not connecting to Handmaid's Tale, not connecting to Marvel movies. Like, what do y'all think Hail Hydra is? What do you think Hydra is? You guys, good night, everyone. Don't ask him about Avatar. Oh no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Don't ask about the airbender. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Love y'all so much. Good night. See y'all later.